You're listening to the Mashup Americans. Hey, I'm Amy Choi.
And I'm Rebecca Lair, and we are the Mashup Americans. And you know what, Amy?
Yes, Rebecca.
I am in need of a serious laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love to laugh all the time, but I'm in need of, like, serious business laughs. That's a job. So, luckily, you're easy to make laugh. That's a good one.
I'm a cheap laugh. I'm an
You're
easy
a cheap
one.
laugh.
Yeah,
I mean, at least for me, I'm like, oh, who's the funniest person around? Gotta be me.
That is you. Well, you know what is nice about this podcast is we get to handpick everybody who's on it, so we can choose people who are going to make us laugh.
That is very true. And the person we handpicked to be on the pod is someone who makes me laugh all the time. That's Liza Treyger, glitter cheese on the internet. And have you ever seen the bit where she talks about buying her dad a Fabergé egg?
Oh, God. Yes, because this is like the most relatable content when she's like, my immigrant parents, they like bought a house, but I bought my dad a Fabergé egg.
It's just so we're just off base, you know what I mean? We're just like one notch off.
I mean, live, laugh, love. Well, Liza is a Russian Jewish mashup who immigrated as a kid to the Midwest. She was like my suburban neighbor in Chicago. She's a stand-up comedian, a feminist, and just someone who we truly delight in because she says all the things we wish we could say. Like, I just want to stand up and cheer during her stand-up, which you can find her special Glitter Cheese on Comedy Central. She's part of the Degenerate special on Netflix, and she's also the host of That's Messed Up, an SVU podcast. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know.
Dun. My parents used to call that. They'd be like, oh, look, dun dun is on. She also has some of the world's greatest bubbe meises, which we respect. And this is truly part of our ultimate guide to a mashup life. The wisdom from our elders comes in a lot of shapes and sizes, and some of it includes never putting your bag on the floor. Literally never.
Wow, I really laughed hard. Here's Liza. We have been thinking and loving your work about how freeing it is to listen to you and laugh. Like literally, actually, like it wasn't even a laughter, but like a scream erupting from my body at some points. And like the freedom, I get to feel how good it feels to be bad. And I think that you have an incredible gift for making the spirit of rebellion feel so alive and good. And like, we can all fucking do it. Like, we can all say these things if we just like listen and laugh hard enough to you. And so we wanted to say we're huge fans and we love that. And that's why we came to you.
There are consequences to speaking your mind. That's the thing. Everyone is like, oh my God, I love that you just say it like it is. And it's like, yeah, a lot of people do not like me. You know what I mean? I bother people. Conflict isn't always easy or like what people say to you. So it's like there are, but I ran into a girl from high school that I hadn't seen since high school. She was at my show in Phoenix and she told me, she goes, you always spoke your mind. She goes, when I found out you were doing comedy, I wasn't shocked. And I liked hearing that.
Okay, so if you brought up high school, take us back to the beginning. It doesn't surprise anybody that you became a comedian. Why? Tell, what's the genesis of Liza?
Well, just, you know, this one girl, my mom has this, but like, I do have this sense of justice and not minding my own business, getting involved in things I shouldn't, like thinking things are unfair or fucked. And I just never really had a filter. And I was always talking and being annoyed at something or someone and then on a fun note, at the basketball sleepovers or hangouts or swim team, I was like the one that stayed up the latest, saying the silliest things, happy to be the butt of the joke. Like, I brought a lot of fun to the sleepovers, I would say. So that's the good element. And then the bad element is I would be like, go fuck yourself. You know?
But how old were you when you moved to the States?
So I was young. I was 3 years old, and we're Russian Jews. Now it's present day Ukraine. I'm from Odessa on the Black Sea. And so we did the Russian Jew journey. Like a lot of us came in the late 80s, early 90s. So we did Italy and Austria and then came to Chicago. And it was, you know, a really Jewy area, obviously, because that's who brought us, the Jewish United Fund. So my sister went to like a Jewish school. I ended up not, thank God. Just for a little bit I did. But so a Jewy area. And then we moved to Skokie. And Skokie, after World War II, had the largest population of Jews outside of Israel. So the Nazis would come march. There's like a famous Nazi march.
Always. Every year, the KKK march.
Yes. So as a kid, we would have to talk about free speech and the KKK, and the KKK would come. And it was like kind of a part of the Skokie background. So I feel lucky because Skokie was so diverse and so amazing. And I just met up with because of comedy, I do get to see people from high school often, which is fun because I travel so much. And I was talking to this girl, and she ended up going to Duke, Yale, Harvard fellowship. She's just like really smart. And she goes, I didn't realize how lucky we were to be in Skokie until I went to these like super white elitist places. She's like, I've never been, because she's Black. And she was just like, I don't know about never. But yeah, we were just like talking about how Skokie was like, I'm so glad I grew up there.
I'm curious with the career that you've built and this kind of I don't know, it feels gross to say it, but like your comedy brand, your comedy style of being out and like being out there, being able to say all the things and dealing with all the conflict. You said that there's a lot of things that are hard about that. So like what is hard? Like what does it feel like when you feel like you're doing your time or
on stage, I don't really think a lot about it. I just like, I just do what I want on stage and it feels great. And I guess the thing is sometimes people won't like you, but that's for all comedians, I think.
Also for all people.
Yeah,
especially 100%. In show business, but also just all people. Yeah.
There is just like a benefit of the doubt if you are a dude that is not given to the like. There are dudes when you walk out that are not happy to be there. The girls have brought them, and and then 90% of them by the end are like leaning, they're smiling, like they can't even believe they want to hear a woman talk, like they just can't. But they love it, and then they're like, whoa, you know. But then sometimes it's just like the energy is crossed arms. They just hate that you're up there so much, and I usually kick them out. They don't have to say anything. I'm like, your energy is actually bothering me and I need you to leave.
Wow.
And then that's it. Because you can't ruin my fun.
The way that I would love to do that 100% of the time of my life.
And it just bothers me because a lot of like, I have a podcast with my friend Kara that's messed up, an SVU podcast. And the girlies that come to our live show, they're just so happy to be there. And I always get really sad when their partners can't get it up for them. You know, like for me, I could go to a sport. I love going to sporting events. I like doing things, but I can go to a concert that's not my musical taste and have fun for my friend or my person or like enjoy things. And I get sad when I see dudes that like they're women being excited. They want to ruin it. They're like mad to even be there, and that always upsets me.
I've not yet gotten to see you live, but seeing your specials and clips, you know, your crowd work is so wonderful, and like you're just going in at it, you know, and that's part of their like it's that high wire like electricity, that high wire act where you're like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, like when you go into a room, there are people that you are ignoring and they are ignoring you. So it's just like you have to be okay with going into a room and knowing there's going to be uncomfortable energy because you fought with tons of people. And I think it happened more after 2016, but truly I got radicalized into feminism very young. Like very early on, I was like, shit's not fair. I don't like what's happening here. Both my mom and dad work, but my mom is also driving us to school, making all our food, cleaning it. Like right away, I knew the world was fucked. Like I just saw it in a way and I didn't like it. So I've been having this argument with men forever, and it's something I care about. And like, I want them to be smarter about rape shit, or like,
Yes.
I just want them to understand. And eventually you get tired because they will never grow or listen, and they don't care. But I especially after 2016, I would sit at these clubs like in New York, and I would argue with these dudes and be like, do you not understand what's happening here? And of course, you know, years later, I saw one of them and he goes, you really went nuts, but I guess you were right. And I go, yeah, of course I was fucking right, you idiots.
Well, that's like the second half of your Degenerate special, which is on Netflix for everyone to watch. You know, it's so precisely for us, and you can feel the men in the room are like
shifting.
There, you feel the shift.
Yeah.
You're like, you have no purpose here. Like, you don't do anything. Like, what is the point of you? And I think that there's where I was, as I was watching it and sending Amy my like live tweets, because I don't tweet, I just send her my thoughts. And it was a similar feeling like, oh, you're going to fucking love, like, it's exactly the feeling, but to say it in a group. And we're pretty unafraid people. We have a very strong energy that I like to say, people always think I'm a lot taller than I am because I have a very tall energy.
I'm like 6 feet tall right now.
Yeah, they're like, she's 5'11". I'm like, no, 5'6.5", but thank you. But I think as you know, as women, as immigrants or children of immigrants, it's something we're conditioned to not be. You know, we're like taught to do the right thing, but there's something here where you're like, this is the right thing. Like, I'm also taught to advocate for people.
And that bothers me because it's usually the dudes and that group of dudes that love comedy that are like, you should be able to say whatever you want, man. Like, PC culture sucks. Why is everyone offended? And they can't fucking handle even a second.
Yeah.
They can't handle a second of being made fun of at all. They are pissed. They will send an email. They will try to get my weekends canceled. These dudes, they can't handle any of it. They can make fun of women and their girlfriends all day long. And the moment you touch on them, they really, they really collapse. And you can see in the audience of that taping, they cross their arms. Like the women are cackling if you take a screenshot, and the men are all crossed arms. And it's like, I'm objectively funny right now. Why are you so upset?
Yeah.
Well, I think that there's actually something that you said I think it was in Degenerates, where you were like, not all men. There are, of course, good men. But if you feel threatened or uncomfortable right now, that's you telling yourself that you're a bad man. Like,
Yeah.
Like, that you're not one of the good ones if this is making you feel like shit.
They're all so delusional. I was with one guy backstage once, and he's like, I wonder if Handmaid's Tale was real, if I would be one of the good guys. And I quickly went, you wouldn't. And he was shocked. He couldn't believe it. He was like, what? And I go, are you kidding me? If like the rule of law became fascist patriarchy, you think you're going to risk your life for women? I mean, like, come on, grow up. You would never. You hardly advocate for women now. You're defending like really bad people, and you married a woman half your age. I don't know. I don't trust you. But they don't. They do not. They see themselves very much removed from who they think bad guys are. It's fun.
Do you ever get like the way that we can say, oh, if you get that twinge in your stomach or if you feel that discomfort, you know that you're in the wrong, that like you're wrong, right? Like even if you're sitting there with your arms crossed, like there's something in you that's telling you that you are not doing the right thing. Do you ever get that feeling, or does that ever happen to you?
Well, not publicly, but what's popping through my head is my friend said something to me that was too real, but honest. It's something I need to work on as a person. But like when she said it, I fully shut down and was pissed. And then I was pissed at her in my head for days. But it was true. It's like, oh yeah, I have to actually work on this. And I haven't. And I've been avoiding it. And now I can't even respond to you because you're so right.
Do your parents enjoy your comedy?
They're like they don't really speak English, which works for me. It's like dirty, but I think sometimes they just don't bring it up. They just like watch stuff, and they like me making my dreams come true. But they're immigrant. Like my dad will never say something nice to me. He'll tell the neighbor, but not me.
Oh, that's a classic.
Have you been in the like Russians in America newspaper yet? And they're like proud of you, and then that's where real pride happens.
They love me in print, but you know what? I've not done a Russian one, and I should actually get on that. This is That's interesting. I'm like grabbing my phone. I'm like, I need to get an Russian paper. No, they like any sort of magazine paper. I've given them a lot of hardware, I would say. Yeah. I think about them. Yeah.
I think one of the things that we love and are always wrestling with, but just comes out trite, like everyone be your whole self or be your authentic self, whatever. But they're this sort of butting up against of some of the expectations of us, right? But actually, it's just fully who all of us are. Like, you're like, I don't know why you thought I would be polite in this circumstance. I'm never really that way, or why you thought I wouldn't be sexual or want all these things like that. You made that story up about me. But I think there's something, for us as immigrants or as Jews, as Koreans, I say us. Amy and I joke a lot about my uncomfortable line that we've both crossed with sharing each other's identities. Is that, there's a lot of expectation that we are a certain way. But I think trying to think about what like the softness and hardness or the ways that we kind of are enjoying like putting people on edge sometimes. And like we just both watched Joyride, which I don't know if you've seen it.
I loved it.
Yeah, so good.
Loved it.
I really loved it.
The two basketball boys getting a concussion because they're both giving her head at the same. The incredible joy I felt through watching Joyride, and the Coke bag, just every single moment of it was so good.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that I think what Rebecca's getting at here is that it feels like, there have been the pioneers. Like there's Joan Rivers, there's Margaret Cho, there's like all of these women that have been kind of the icon of like bold, say what you feel, sexual, like just out there women and comedians, and that there's now this or it feels like this new generation of mashy women artists who are getting to make big movies, who are getting their Netflix specials, and that are just like enjoying being bad.
Yeah. I also love the explosion. Might be some people don't, but I also like girl comics like dressing ultra feminine and kind of slutty and revealing. Like I'm really into that because for so long I think it was like, don't show your shit, don't be this, dress like a man, and like it was like grungy, and it's like, what the fuck? So like when I see cool girls dressed hot on the stage, I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I love that. That makes me happy.
Well, one of the things we wanted to cover with you, which is really important to us, is superstitions. We're so superstitious, and we have a whole series on bubbe meises, like grandmother tales. And, you talk a bit about this in your work about Russian Jewish superstitions. First of all, I'd like to parse out, is it Russian Jewish? Is it like Soviet? Like, where are these superstitions come from? And can you give us a few of the ones that you have to keep in your house, like that are part of your day to day?
I don't know where they come from. I think just like any culture that comes out of war, struggle, poverty, you gotta look to something. So you're just like making things up. But I never know what part of it is Jewish versus like old world Soviet or Yiddish. Like I never know where any of it comes from. And some of it I think is like specific to my family. I don't know. The ones that are huge for me are if I leave the house, I forget something and I come back in, I always look in the mirror before I leave. That's important. I don't hug in a doorway.
What happens if you don't?
You die.
I've never even fucked around with that. You know what I mean? But I'll tell my sister and she'll be like, shut up. Like she's just kind of not into that. I don't cheers with water, but I've started to chill out on that because it's just too... there's sober people, they deserve a cheers. But in my house, like, if you don't drink, you would get, like, a cheers to your nose. But...
I love that, a cheers to the nose.
I also always show my pocket to a crescent moon for, prosperity.
That is so interesting. I realized I don't do that, but just naturally, anytime I see a beautiful moon, I go outside in the evening to even just take the trash out. I find myself doing a whole weird routine with the moon. Like I'll be like, see you. I literally do that by myself. Maybe this is
just kiss the air, guys.
Just kissing the air and then like bringing it back in. Maybe this is something that I sort of knew in me. The Ukrainian Jews within me were.
So it brings you prosperity.
Cool. Yeah.
Interesting.
For Amy, well, do you want to tell her about Korean fan death just to give her some more?
Oh, well, you can't sleep with the fan on at night because you will die.
I sleep with a fan on all the time, but it might be why I'm sick, honestly.
I mean, it also could be that this fan death only applies to Korean people.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So I think that is one of them. What are some of the other ones?
Mine is you can't put your bag on the floor because your money will run away.
100%. I never put my bag on the floor. That's another one I do.
Yeah, never.
You can't clink your silverware or tableware against the plates because you'll scare all the angels and good spirits away.
Mm-hmm.
That seems
I don't
obvious.
do that, but that makes sense.
It makes sense, right?
The angels don't like noises like that.
No, they don't. It's so harsh, so harsh. What are some of the other ones? Our Taiwanese friend has said that you can never get shoes as a gift because that person will run away from you.
Ooh, wow.
Right?
There's a lot of symbolism.
Also feels logical.
Yeah, it feels really logical.
I did like the one that I had never heard before that I learned from you, which was the don't ever step over anyone's legs because then they'll never grow.
Yeah.
The problem is once you know them and you're like, oh, this is so silly, but then you can
never unknow them.
You cannot not do it. And then you're like, well, I'm not gonna not open my pocket to a crescent moon. What do I know? I don't know more than anyone.
No, but the gift thing, we also don't do anything sharp. No knives as gifts and no watches for some reason. And if you give a purse or a wallet, you have to put money in it for good luck that you can never spend.
Oh, you can't spend the money that comes in it.
No, absolutely not. You put it in a little pocket.
Oh, Rebecca, this is maybe how I have fallen down in life.
You spent your good luck money.
I spent my good luck money. I was like, woo, there's $2 in here.
How much is too little money that would actually be rude? And like now you're like, not only is this not good luck, but
it's tacky.
You're tacky.
Oh, $1 is fine.
Okay,
really.
okay.
It's not
okay.
about the amount. I think, $1 is totally fine.
Okay, thank you. We're going to be making this last.
Wow, I've really learned a lot today.
It is I'm just so American that sometimes I do try to be like, you don't need to do this. You can have it. But I just I can't. I don't celebrate my birthday until it happens. If it's on a Wednesday, I'm not going to have a party the Saturday before because it's convenient. Absolutely not. After only.
Oh, you know what? As a superstitious Jew, especially around having babies, I was like, really to the max. I went to some birthing class or whatever, and this terrible lady was asking everybody what they were naming the babies, and I was like, this goyish environment is not for me. I was like, you cannot. And then people said the names of the babies. And I was like, your baby is destined to have a terrible life. Like, that's a terrible name. And also, this is wrong. You can't tell. That baby might not be born. Get out of here.
Oh, people are loosey-goosey nowadays. They're just showing photos, buying stuff, gifts before. Absolutely.
And they're like, the whole name. They're like,
I don't go to baby showers. No. I'm against it, and I do not go. Or I go and I let everyone know I will not be bringing a gift. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
When your baby is born, you can get a gift from me.
Ugh, I love that you have a hard line, and I think I'm so glad you're sticking with it. But with that, I think we're just so grateful to have you here. And any advice that you could give, because this is our guide to life, which is, how to tap into kind of, your most rebellious, renegade, degenerate self.
I don't know. It's hard. My life is it's like I am so fulfilled in so many ways, and then I also. It sucks when the ways you're not fulfilled are the ways people usually respect other people. So that's kind of hard. My apartment is small, but my life is so good. I think
your apartment can be small and your life can be big.
It's true, but God, I just wish I had one more room. Okay. This is stealing from someone else. I think I saw it on Jerry Salt's, the art critics, Instagram. But it was a thing about artists, and one of the things is free time is what makes you rich, not money. And it's I don't know. Obviously, everyone has different things and needs and cash, and I get it. But to me, I feel so rich because I have so much free time, and I have full ownership of my time in every way. And that makes me happy because sometimes I'm jealous of my friends who write for a TV show and they have more money, but they're working every day. And I could go to Great America today if I wanted. So I think sometimes, value the free time and the time that you have to do what you want with friends, family, yourself. And that's valuable as well.
Oh, I think to me, I couldn't agree more that owning your time is like what we're working towards, actually. Like that's the highest form of success to me. I get to own my time and pay my bills and all these, not worry about if I have a health emergency. Like there's lots of baseline living shit, but that to own my time, I'm like, ugh, that's the highest point. So I love that. I was curious, you have had this journey, right? You're 3 years old, you leave the USSR, formerly that, now Ukraine, and your family gets to eventually Skokie. When you look at what your parents' lives have been, in contrast to yours, I know you have we've heard your jokes about money, which make me cry laughing about buying your dad a Fabergé egg.
Oh my God.
And I would love to see images of it. But other ways that you think about kind of in a daily way, or that your approach to life is formed by that experience in contrast or in relationship to what you and your family have already kind of emerged from, the kind of chaos or context.
I think about them all the time, and I've also hit the age where I feel so lucky I have them. My parents are 85 and 78, and I just feel like the luckiest girl in the world. And I also see my friends becoming parents, and it is so hard. And I just cannot believe that in their 40s, and my dad was in his 50s, came to a country for their kid and had to do all the parent stuff without speaking English and working all these jobs. And I get to live my friends make fun of me when I say life of leisure because I do work hard, but I just love it so much, and it's not manual labor,
Yeah.
And so I can't believe they did it. I don't know how they did it. I can't save money. I don't know how they bought a house. It is wild to me, and how giving they are. And I didn't realize this till I was a late teen, but people have bad parents. And my parents aren't perfect. My parents, in our home, we would yell, silent treatment, and then pretend nothing happened.
Uh-huh.
And then in my 20s, when you live with people, you realize that's not a way to resolve conflict. People don't like being yelled at, and silent treatment isn't productive, and you are living the same things. And I wish my parents had mental health help, right?
Yeah, right.
They obviously have fucking problems growing up under Stalin,
Yeah.
My dad's born in 1938. And this, I can't even imagine what they went through. But so they obviously have their flaws, they're not perfect, but they're so loving and caring about us. And then you meet all these different people all over always. And then you figure out oh, fuck, your mom's a narcissist, or your parents, wait, what? They didn't pay for this, or they you just, I feel so happy. And then you learn about poverty in certain ways where I never felt rich, we were fresh immigrants, but I got to play basketball, and I got to do theater, and I got to go on field trip. I got to do all the stuff. And then you realize, oh my God, there's kids who couldn't do that. And then it's wild to think about.
Well, and also to think, we have children, my children are 4 and 7, and to think about the displacement, and I think this is right, that fucking asshole in 2016 when you were screaming in the green room at the Comedy Store or whatever, no, this is really bad. This idea that for us, that's part of our ancestral trauma and grief and stuff, where you're no, there's no reason for me to believe, based on my family's entire history, that I wouldn't be displaced in the next few years. There's actually
they're banning
no
books.
reason for me to think.
They're banning books.
Yeah,
what more evidence do you need? It's they're banning books. Is that not the first sign?
Yeah.
They're going after the trans community. We've seen this before, and I'm sitting here like a fucking Twilight Zone being are we not worried? I guess we're not. And then I just do Molly and go to Vegas. That's that's the only way.
Oh yeah.
But Yeah, I don't know. I just feel, and I think so many immigrant stories are like parents making their kids do certain things. And for me, I just feel like they were just happy I got to live this, like that I could do what I want. And, you know, and I feel lucky that they hate that I have tattoos, right? They hate all these things that I do, but never stop me from being me. And I think that's like really unique.
Oh, that's such a testament to their love.
I know.
Too.
They're obsessed with me in a way that, like, I don't know what, they got to get another hobby. They're like obsessed. But I want to say, but in terms of informing comedy, like the more outside you are, the better insight you have. Like, I think with storytelling or anything like that. And so I think, being an outsider always helps. That's why all the like white dudes are all doing the same trans joke. They have no way to see themselves.
Be outside?
Yeah. They are the core. And so they have such a struggle to like see outside of it. But
oh, how boring.
So boring. Don't they know that punching down is so uninteresting?
It can be funny. Like, that's the thing. It's like, can you actually be different? Like, there are ways to make fun of everybody in a great way. And it's just like, but they can't see outside of themselves. And like, the more you're not speaking English and you're with a bunch of kids who do, and you don't understand anything, you're going to have some opinions on what's going on.
You're like, I don't know what they're saying, but that one's a douche.
Even in second grade, I remember Jenny and her family went to Disney World twice a year, every year. And back then I was like, your family is fucking crazy. And now everyone makes fun of Disney adult families. And I was like, yeah, I knew this in second grade. You know?
Jenny.
Okay. Liza, you're the greatest.
Thank you so much.
Is so fun.
What a delight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Liza, for reminding us that we should never step over someone's legs ever again.
Nope, never. And, build a relationship with the moon, okay? It's important, it seems. Just saying.
It seems.
Yes.
Catch the final episode of this season of the Mashup Americans next week. We'll have the chef, author, restaurateur, and incredibly thoughtful human Pierre Thiam on the show talking about the stories and love we express through food.
Oh, our favorite subject. See you then. Love you.
Bye. This podcast is a production of the Mashup Americans. It is executive produced by Amy S. Choi and Rebecca Lehrer. Senior editor and producer is Sarah Pellegrini. Production manager is Shelby Sandlin. Thanks to DJ Rob Swift for our theme song, Salsa Scratch. Additional engineering support by Pedro Rafael Rosado. Please make sure to follow and share this show with your friends.